Why no more 911s yet? Amid the many uncertainties loosed by the Al-Qaida attacks on September 11th, 2001, one forecast seemed beyond doubt. Islamist terrorists would strike the United States again, and soon. 90 days at the most, said one counterterrorism expert. And on October 5th, 2001, an unnamed senior intelligence official told Congress in a private briefing that there was a 100% chance of another terrorist attack should the U.S. invade Afghanistan, as it did 2 days later. An attack is predictable now, whether we retaliate against Afghanistan or not, reasoned House Speaker-to-be Nancy Pelosi, Democrat, California. And when no second terrorist attack occurred in 2001, experts then adjusted their time horizons. If we get through the summer without some sort of attack, we'll be pretty fortunate, said George Vinson, a security advisor to then California Governor Gray Davis in June 2002. In February 2003, Tom Ridge, the nation's first Secretary of Homeland Defense, publicly estimated an 80% likelihood that terrorists would attack the United States within the next few days. In August 2003, the World Markets Research Center said it was highly likely that terrorists would attack the United States within the next 12 months. Then, in June 2006, unnamed U.S. officials told CBS News they'd be surprised if the United States weren't hit by a terrorist attack by the end of that year. In December 2008, the Commission on the Prevention of WMD, Proliferation and Terrorism, said it was more likely than not that by 2013, terrorists would attack somewhere in the world using a chemical, biological, or nuclear weapon. In a February 4th interview, former Vice President Dick Cheney said there was a high probability of such an attempt. He didn't say when, though. It didn't happen. Or rather, it hasn't happened yet. Perhaps it's not just a matter of if, it's more just a matter of when. Yes, it will happen again. There will be another 911. So far, they haven't struck the United States again. Why not? The question is impossible to answer with certainty, according to men. But given that the war on terrorism was, for good or ill, the defining pursuit of George W. Bush's presidency, anyone seeking to understand the previous 8 years of American political history must ask it. And, more urgently, our new President, Barack Obama, is surely pondering this question as he assesses the present risk of a terrorist attack on the United States and how best to address it. So, why hasn't there been another attack on the United States? Perhaps it has to do with distance and logistics. Again, yes, the United States is far away from Afghanistan. One goal inherent in the 9/11 attacks was to do harm to the United States. In the terrorists are dumb theory, and the melting pot theory. Considerable harm that the furious U.S. response to 9/11 caused by Al-Qaida. But that response also harmed the United States too. Nearly 5,000 U.S. troops have died in Iraq and Afghanistan, and more than 15,000 have come home wounded. At least 90,000 to 100,000 Iraqi civilians have been killed, and perhaps as many as 10,000 or more Afghan civilians in Afghanistan, where fighting is intensifying. It's getting worse in Afghanistan. More than 2,000 civilians have died just in the past year in Afghanistan. In Muslim nations, the wars in Afghanistan, and particularly Iraq, have driven negative ratings of the United States nearly off the charts. The Pew Global Attitudes Project reported in December. Gallup polls conducted between 2006 and 2008 found approval ratings for the U.S. government at 15% in the Middle East, 23% in Europe, and 34% in Asia. Of course, to be sure, civilian casualties have harmed Al-Qaeda's standing too. But to whatever extent Al-Qaeda hoped to reduce the United States' standing in the world, and especially in the Middle East, that mission has been accomplished. The Pew survey found most countries anticipated an improvement under President Obama, who already has ordered that Guantanamo Bay be shuttered, and that the last administration's creative interpretations of the Geneva Convention be revoked. But with the Obama administration escalating increasing troop levels in Afghanistan, and a growing sense that U.S. forces will remain in Iraq for years to come, the United States won't be loved by the Muslim world anytime soon. That is the reality. So, the Iraq's war cost is approximately $3 trillion so far. And a lot of money has been spent in Afghanistan too. How much money and how much time? How many more casualties should it take? According to CRS, the Congressional Research Service, for every soldier the United States deploys in Iraq or Afghanistan, the taxpayer spends $390,000. So, how much money will it cost? And how much longer will it take? Because there will be another attack on the United States. Sooner or later. Once again, it's not just a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, given all the circumstances and the reality of it all. Because if you keep pushing those people in Afghanistan and Pakistan, if you keep going after them, the Taliban, and so forth and so on, what might happen? And what does Pakistan have? They have nuclear weapons. Iraq didn't have any weapons of mass destruction, and neither did Afghanistan. But now, it's almost as if, well, we're fighting people in a nuclear-armed country. What could possibly happen with that? It could very well end up very badly. And yes, it will end up badly. Most likely. And once again, these are part of something bigger. All this is part of something bigger going on around the world. And these are signs, more signs, of the end times, transition days. And the transition is ongoing, day by day, all around the world, every day.